Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry. And today I thought I'd just do a little update on my experience owning this little van. I've had it now for about 19 months actually. And I used to use this van right here, which served me well. I bought the Uplander new in 2008. And it's got lots of miles on it. 180,000 kilometers, I think it is, or no, 180,000 miles. And it was just getting to the point where I was, although nothing serious went wrong with it. Okay, I guess the transmission is serious. But I did replace the transmission, and then about a year later the transmission failed again, but it was under warranty fortunately. But after that happened, then I decided, well, things, even what seemed to be smaller items like even a oil pan gasket was over $1,000 to replace on this, because of the way that the motor has to be lifted up so that the oil pan can come off. Same thing with valve cover gaskets. I had them replaced. That was $1,000 right there. You know, things like that. It was getting to the point where, oh, it served me well, and for, well, 3 or 4 years I didn't do anything to it, I guess. But and a very comfortable vehicle, and I actually think they're, of the older minivans, it's a better choice than, say, the Chrysler. But you know, they get to a point where you just have to accept what is. And and that when I added up the cost of the repairs over a few years, plus the fuel mileage, which is not as good as the Nissan, it was actually economical for me to put this aside and move to the Nissan about 19 months ago. And this thing, it works perfectly well. It's running fine and everything, but I just need to have something that I'm sure is going to start every time. And although the only time I had it towed was when the transmission went, the one time. The second time I limped it in. But anyway, so it was time to move away from the Uplander, and it's kind of sitting there as a backup, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I guess I'll eventually pull the decals off and sell it, but it's there if I really need it. But in the meantime, I purchased this little van, and I wasn't actually sure if this was going to work well for me, because it's a little bit shorter, not a lot shorter, but it is a bit taller. So it ended up being that it did hold everything, and I've actually got more in here than I had in the Uplander, which I'll show you in a sec. But this is, so my overall view of this vehicle after 19 months of owning it is, it's a really nice vehicle to drive. It's very nimble, maneuverable. It's comfortable to drive. It gets consistent 25 miles per gallon. That's almost entirely city driving, and that's a pretty big difference between the Uplander behind me. I think I was down to 15 or 16 miles per gallon. So that makes a difference over time, of course, although it's not a huge difference, but it all adds up. I was hesitant to buy this particular vehicle when I considered the choices, because you got the Ford Transit and the Chrysler. I can't remember what they call that one. But the reason I ended up choosing this was purely a pragmatic decision. Quite frankly, I didn't really like, one thing I didn't like about this is I thought the wheels looked kind of small and like a little roller skate. This thing, my wife says it's a roller skate. But my decision for choosing it was based on mostly on the reviews that I went and looked at, because although the Transit and the Chrysler both had mostly good reviews, what I noticed was there'd be good review, good review, good review, and a good review, and then a disastrous review. And that was pretty consistent with both of them, where mostly people were liking them and had no problem with them, but then every 10 or 20 of your reviews, there'd be a review where something disastrous had happened to either the motor or the transmission, something pretty serious. And one of the complaints, this was a couple of years back obviously, was sometimes they had a difficult time getting parts, and that was a concern. Now, when I then I went and looked at the reviews of the Nissan. I actually had, initially, it wasn't even on the table as far as I was concerned, because my thought was, well, it's too small anyway. But it turns out, actually, as I say, it's actually only 7 inches shorter than the Uplander inside, from the back seat to the rear door, but it is higher. So it actually has actual larger cubic area in there, which I put to good use, as I'll show you in a sec. But anyway, as I looked at all the reviews, I noticed that I didn't see any really bad reviews about this vehicle, and they've been making it for a few years. The only reviews that were sort of critical of it were things like the door latch broke, or things like that. There was no concern about or no bad reviews about the motor blowing up or failing, or even the transmission, which was my main concern, because I know that these CV transmissions, at least the earlier ones, did not have a great track record. And however, I did some research on that, and what I discovered is that these transmissions will certainly go well over 100,000 miles, but the key is to not go by necessarily the recommended maintenance, transmission service, but do it more often. And so I decided, okay, so anyway, what I've done is I decided, okay, I'll buy it, but I'm going to have the transmission serviced every year. So I bought it in June, and last June I had it the year before, and so last June I did have the transmission serviced. They were a little surprised when I said I want the transmission serviced, but I said, no, I want to get it done. I want to keep on top of this thing, and for the, I don't know, a couple $100 or whatever it was to do it, I figured that was a minor thing. So I'm at my next oil change. I just had the oil changed today, and my next oil change will be at 25,500 kilometers, and that's how many. So it's got less than that now, about 3,000 or 5,000 less, I guess. But overall, I'm really liking the vehicle. It works pretty well, and it fits everything that I need in there. So I've showed this before, but I'll give you another view of it. When I had the transmission service, one of the things I was wanting to know was, how are the brakes holding up? I got a fair amount of weight in here, which you'll see in a sec. But after 19 months, they said I have 80% brake left in the front and about 50% left in the rear. And that's pretty good, because I was totally replacing the brakes on the Uplander every couple of years or so. So I think this will be maybe about the same, maybe a bit better, but although that's not a big deal really. But anyway, I'll show you what I've got in here. I've got my little spotter in here at the front. Nobody sits here anyway. I've got jugs of solution in the back here. There's three 3-gallon jugs right there. And on this side I have my main cleaning machine, my main rotary, 2 pre-spray cans. One's got my stair mix for stairs, and then there's actually a pre-spray in that one. And I got 2 brushes here, and this symbol bag actually holds the tools and the hoses for my upholstery machine, which is in the back. There's a chemical shelf over on the side here, as you will see. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or more gallons of different cleaning solutions, etc. And I got more things down here, and then there's a shelf, obviously the floor, there's more stuff. Each one of these shelves is full, and there's bags up here, vacuum bags, and there's, I think it's on the other side of that, I can't remember now. Just a few other things, and a big extension cord usually sits up over there. My pads are up here, obviously you can see my little extra pads for my little OP machine, which is sitting in here. I actually have another stepson is sitting in here as well, which is my backup in case the Oric bails on me, or if I need it for a different job. I've actually got a backpack vacuum sitting right behind here. This little shelf actually pops off of here, it's just sitting there. I've got my fiber pads sitting over here. My oh, I got a bunch of pads right over here for the Auric, and those will be the Glad pads. There's two more jugs of solution right here. One has Omega Citrus in it, and the other one has Revived Rocket. I've got a couple of tarps. These pads here are actually specifically for my Vibe, which I've got up on the other side. I'll show you. This bag here is for leather cleaning stuff. I've got, of course, my E600 upholstery cleaning machine, which is my main upholstery cleaning. My main upholstery cleaning machine is sitting here. That's a 6-gallon machine. I've got 2 milk carton boxes sitting right there. One's got various chemicals, etc. Some of my wood cleaning stuff is in there actually. That's actually my wood cleaning stuff is mostly right in there. And there's a couple of extra microfiber pads for the Vibe, which is sitting in the other door. I'll show you in a sec. There's some more cleaning solutions right here. This is mostly wood cleaning stuff. Got some Odoban mixed and concentrate. That's some more Omega right there. This is just sitting here because I've been using this heater. It got really cold the last few days. This is my spotter tray, and then this is my clean and dirty bucket for using the pulse machine. My pad driver, another extension cord, rake, doodle bug for mostly for wood floors, etc. Pad drivers for the Auric, miscellaneous things. Oh, there's an S1 hanging underneath there, which is mostly would be used for the backpack, and the hose for the backpack. The end of it's right there, and then it loops over the top. And then over the side, we have the Vibe is sitting right here, and the Auric obviously sitting right there. And I carry, there's another symbol bag there. That one is used for carrying pads in the pad driver when I go up into a condo. I just slip it in there and carry it up things up that way. Few miscellaneous hoses here. My backup upholstery cleaning machine, upholstery cleaning head, which is the Sapphire Scientific. These fiber pads up here on these pads are mostly for wood floor cleaning, and of course those are the Super Zorbs for the Vibe as well. I carry a few of those. Those are actually brand new ones, which I would only use on wood floor. So my main vacuum here, and the backup is the Kirby. And here's the back side of that S wand. It's a collapsing wand, so it fits underneath there nicely. And I got a hair dryer hanging there, and these are the Glad pads. And so you can see I've got it very well packed, and the key is to use every inch from floor to ceiling. And because the amount of cubic feet we have in a vehicle like this is actually quite a lot, as you can see. So anyway, that's the Nissan NV200, and I like the vehicle. I would recommend it. And one of the other reasons I decided to buy this vehicle was this vehicle is made, at least I'm pretty sure it's actually made in Japan. It's a Japanese vehicle, and I'm not sure if these are made in North America or if they're made in Japan, but the Japanese are well known for very high quality products usually. So that was the other reason why I decided to go with this, because I know that the Chrysler one is made in Mexico, and the Ford Transit one is actually made in Turkey. And I just thought, I want to stick with something that's I look long range on these things, and I figured that this will be the last vehicle I buy before my last one I had for 10 years, and I don't think I'll be doing this in 10 years, one way or the other. Whether who knows what's going on in the world, right? Or I retire, or I simply can't do it anymore. But apparently my wife tells me I gotta work till I'm about 110 before I can retire, so that's a little ways away. But anyway, that's why I chose this vehicle, and so far I've been really very happy with it. I like the way it works. I like the door, the way the doors work. I thought I wouldn't like the Uplander has the door that goes up, and it's kind of nice to stand underneath in the, if it's raining, it keeps you protected, but that's not a big deal. The other thing is that these doors actually do lock open, whereas the Uplander ones would not, which was really stupid. That was actually my pet peeve about the Uplander. But the Uplander did have one thing about it that was really nice, and that was that it being such a long wheelbase, it was very nice to drive, very comfortable. But that also was a negative thing, because it was really quite a thing to maneuver when you go into a parking stall. It was like driving a freighter, because it's just the wheelbase is so long, whereas this vehicle is very nimble. You couldn't even do a U-turn in the Uplander, even on my street right here, because I'd have to turn and then back up and then go, whereas this thing will practically do a U-turn on my driveway. Anyway, that's the Nissan NV200, and I thought I'd just give you guys a little overview of it. And if you're considering a minivan, this is, although actually they're not making them anymore, but they are coming off of lease, because a lot of people did lease them. I did lease this too, rather than purchase it. I could have bought it outright. That wasn't an issue, but I decided, you know, I'll just lease it, because then it'll be 100% write-off, and I needed a write-off, so this is a wise thing to do for me anyway. So anyway, there you go, and I hope that's helpful to you. If you're considering a minivan, consider these Nissans, and look at the reviews and decide for yourself if it'll work for you. Oh, one more thing. Just remember that this thing only has 135 horsepower, so it's no rocket, that's for sure. I mean, it's comfortable and it's okay, but it's not fast. But you're gaining the gas mileage with this little 4-cylinder in here. So, and it's naturally aspirated, it's not turbocharged or anything like that, so it's not overworked. I think they're supposed to be a pretty good durable motor. So there you go. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.